welcome back to the Afternoon Express Loft, where we are with one of my favorite girls in the world who's going to be helping us whip up an absolute treat in terms of leading up to Easter. Dumi, what it do, baby boo?
Thank you, my darling. It's been a while. I haven't seen you in a bit, but I am excited for today because not only do we get to cook, but we get to test your cooking skills in the kitchen, my guy. I don't know if you're ready. You said you were born ready.
I was born ready.
I heard this. We're supposed to prove these rumors true today. So, Sabona Kon.
Well, let's get Mzansi in on the conversation. On social media, we would like you to please fill in the blank. This is the question. Now, think about it, Tabile. I'm going to ask you at the end of the show, ne? It's not Easter until I've had a blank. Make sure you include the hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments.
Made with love by Clover.
Now let's get cooking. Easter is a time for family and for sharing. Now, in light of the festivities, we're bringing you a classic Easter leg of lamb, basted with Clover Olive Pride extra virgin olive oil, rosemary, thyme, and garlic, served with a herby green sauce. Yummy!
Yummy.
Oh, girl.
Well, tell me then, since you're talking about that, how big is Easter in your family?
Oof, it's every year.
Okay.
We go to church, but unfortunately due to COVID-19, you know.
So you guys are big on celebrating it?
All the time. Hot cross buns, like there are hot cross buns waiting for me right now at home. So, you know, and the weather is allowing for the coffee and them hot cross buns.
Of course. Okay, before we get to the hot cross buns, let's at least get this ready because you can at least make the main now. We're going to skill you up so you can make the main on Easter. So you're going to start off by making us a great, tasty, herby sauce that's going to go with our leg of lamb here. So you've got some ingredients in front of you, some herbs, some green herbs, you've got some lemon juice, and you've also got some red wine vinegar. But to bind all of that together, the sauce that we're making, we're going to be, because we need it to be nice and thick as well, you know, to bind and basically be able to dip into. I'm going to add some of our Clover Olive Pride into this jar because what you're going to do is in essence shake everything together for the sauce that we're making. So let me just start by adding quite a bit of this. And I think the great part is even though this oil is great for the sauce and just as it is also great for like hot application. By hot application, I mean things like grilling, I mean your stewing and stuff like that. So if you're going to make something on the open fire and need to baste it, this is definitely an oil to use for that.
Lovely, okay. And how else, what else does he have in front of him?
Yeah, when I get magic, you just go crazy now. You can put everything into that jar, the red wine vinegar, the lemon juice, and then just grate up some of that garlic into that jar as well, and then shake it up.
So mix masala?
Mix masala,
Most definitely. Can I get...
Go ahead, do your thing.
Alrighty.
Do your thing, and while you do that, I'm going to get started as well, because, I mean, we're talking about a leg of lamb, and leg of lamb also has to have all that flavor. And it's got such a nice earthy... No, go ahead, don't worry about me, don't stop on my account.
Man.
I'm going to get started with the marinade and what's going to go over our leg of lamb. And here I've got a nice hearty, hard herb, which is rosemary. And the reason we call it a hard herb is it can actually resist the heat and it actually cooks when you put it into your dishes. Even though most times herbs can burn, with these kind, it actually just releases all that flavor. So it's great for such cooking techniques where, like the thymes, the rosemaries, they're great for such applications.
Absolutely. I mean, I do truly see those rosemary, thyme, and garlic actually used quite a lot in lamb recipes. And also, it gives me a very, should I say Mediterranean flavor?
Definitely. It definitely has those Mediterranean flavors, especially with the addition of the mint we've got there. You've got some parsley, you've got some mint. So the mint definitely is a pairing that works well with lamb. So we've got the mint in there, and I've got some rosemary over here, and the lemon juice as well is quite signature with those Mediterranean flavors you were talking about.
Stunning. Tabile, it seems as if you are doing the Lord's work here.
I am. Easter.
So when it comes to creating dishes like this, do you help out a lot or at all, Endlin?
Hey, ndimo phekayo phakalamsi.
Really?
Ndimo phekayo.
For some reason, I don't believe him.
Why?
I don't believe you.
Come on.
You see, exactly.
Mom,
that's why I don't believe.
All the time.
You see, Mzansi, that's why I don't believe Utabile. He wants to use the microblader like this.
I use the old school vibes.
Now, my son, like this, yeah.
Oh,
one,
is it
two,
normal?
1, 2, 1, 2, and then boom, and then can you see all that residue? Then you take your teaspoon and then you empty it out into your jar.
And
Tumi, how's it going on your side?
It's going quite well. So I've added all the ingredients here, basically the flavor component to our lamb. I've got that rosemary I was talking about. I've added the garlic that I've chopped up and I've listed into nice big pieces so that it infuses as much flavor as possible into our leg of lamb. I've also added quite a generous amount of salt because we want to basically create like a nice little crust outside our leg of lamb. But we also want it to be, can you see how glossy and shiny that leg of lamb is?
Very
it's
inviting.
Because of this clover olive pride that we've added. So I'm going to add quite a generous amount into this marinade that we're making because we want it to be able to pair not only with the fat that comes from the leg of lamb, but we also want it to infuse into the actual meat itself because it's also got those light olive flavors in there. And most people might be worried because the olive oil has a high smoking point, but a low smoking point. But because of the clover olive pride, the oils that are in there are great, so you don't have to worry about the smoking point. And it's a smiley, when's a
A disaster, lad.
Disaster,
That's a disaster.
Trust me, guys, I do know how to cook. I cook all the time.
Okay, so
all the time.
Or as you are alling the timing.
From KFC.
I love
On
that.
Uber Eats.
Tumi, at the end of the day, you know, making lamb can be really, really tricky. We want it to still be succulent. We want it to still be absolutely juicy. How do we ensure that that happens? Because you are massaging that
Exactly.
baby.
This is it. You know when people talk about tenderizing your meat and it helps for the meat to stay soft, this is one of those parts. I've added, like I mentioned, a generous amount of salt and pepper as well. But I also like to do this to my meat. Imagine, Guti, this meat is going to go into your mouth and you want it to be nice and juicy. So you want it to be nice and soft as well. So I'm making sure all those flavors go into it. And luckily for me, it's got a bone in it, meaning that the cooking temperature, cooking time, might be a little longer. So with leg of lamb or any other big cuts of meat, it's always low and slow. You know, you don't want to burn it too quickly. So I'm now going to put the rest of our marinade in here. And this baby, because like we said, this one has bone in, I'm going to put it at 200 degrees for an hour 45, but if it didn't have the bone, I'd say an hour 15 if you want it nice and medium or soft in the center. But if you want it to be well done, which I do not advise. Do not get it.
We want to keep the integrity
you want it nice
of that
and
lamb.
pink in the center, yes. So rather undercook it than overcook it. So this baby goes into the oven to cook for an hour, at least 15 minutes, and then we're gonna let it come out of the oven, sit for another 10 minutes just so those juices come together again.
Stunning. I've had a taste. It is everything that Tumi has offered. It's everything that she has promised. It is succulent, it is tasty, and that sauce of yours, my king,
Bing has arrived.
it definitely did the trick. The taste and the flavor of just that lemon also coming through. I love it. Are you proud of yourself?
Very. Very proud.
Mzansi, if you also want to be very proud in your own kitchen and you also want to get your hands on this very, very simple recipe, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.